What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to. I wanted to bring you a video, kind of a follow-up video to a video I did a couple of days ago on Sonya Massey, a 36-year-old black woman that was shot and killed by police early in the month. And right now, the mainstream media, they're pushing this racial thing so bad. And they're pushing that this girl was a victim. Was an absolute victim. And I'm not saying in some ways she was a victim. I mean, she definitely has some problems. But the fact of the matter is, she did attempt to throw a pot of boiling hot water on the police officer. Now, the video they show in the mainstream media does not show that. Because again, it's only showing what happened from the other officer's body camera. So you don't see accurately what happened. But with his body camera, you do. So again, I'm sure they have a different opinion, a different analysis if they knew all the information. But I'm going to include a clip from Nate the lawyer. And Nate the lawyer is a lawyer and attorney that has a YouTube channel. And I liked his breakdown of this. But watch this.
The first thing I'm going to start with is other legal commentators and why they're coming to the conclusions they've come to and why I'm coming to the conclusion that I've come to. Because we are looking at two different sets of facts. Now, before I jump into the other legal coverage, there were two sets of body cams. There was one from the officer who did not fire his weapon, and there was the one from the officer who did fire his weapon. Now, the officer who fired his weapon, his body cam turned on later in the incident, while the officer who didn't fire his body cam, his camera was on the entire time. So most of the story we're getting from his body camera, but right before the shooting, we have the second body camera that we can look at to get more context. Now, I'm just going to make it very plain. All the legal commentators you're about to see did not see the second body cam. They only saw the first body cam. So all of their conclusions, which I believe their conclusions are correct, are all based on only part of the information. It's only based on that one body cam footage.
Rebuke you in the name of Jesus. I rebuke you in the name of... No, I swear to God, I'll shoot you in your face. Okay, I'm sorry. Drop the...
Seeing the weapon drawn, Miss Massey put her hands in the air and stated, "I'm sorry," while ducking for cover behind the counter that separated her and the defendant. The defendant, with his firearm still drawn, proceeded to close the significant gap between him and Miss Massey. Defendant then aggressively yelled at Miss Massey to put the pot down. The defendant then fired his duty weapon 3 times in the direction of Miss Massey, striking her in the face 1 time. Only at this time did the defendant, Grayson, activate his body-worn camera.
So we see right here the body camera was on. It was on beforehand, but people were told that the body camera was not turned on until after the shooting.
Now, the way he's describing it is that Grayson just shot the victim without any provocation, without any cause. This was a simple murder. But when you see the second body cam angle, you see the victim jump up and toss a hot pot of boiling water at the officer, and the officer returned fire at that same time. Now, let's look at Bruce Rivers. He actually came to the same conclusion that I think any reasonable person comes to, is that this is a killing because he didn't see the part where she actually goes down, comes back up, gets the pot, and tosses the pot forward, which you'll see in a second. So, again, this is not a knock on Bruce. His analysis is spot on for the information that he has. He is 100% correct. I'm just saying when you add more information and more context to it, it changes the analysis. So let's watch Bruce.
He pulls his gun. She cowers. She cowers.
And she says, "I'm sorry." If you look at the thing, she says, oh, you don't have the subtitle up. She said, "I'm sorry."
So she cowers and says, "I'm sorry." This cop is fucked. I mean, what's your defense? Your defense has to be reasonable.
Okay, right here, Bruce is analyzing the footage from the body camera of the partner, the one that's widely available and used on the mainstream media. He's not seeing the body camera footage from the officer that shot Miss Massey.
I mean, you can't take that time back. You can't take those bullets back. And I'm not an expert in police activity or police training or anything like that. I do know what I've seen over the years, and I've cross-examined police experts, so I do know a little bit about the force continuum, and I know about what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. You tell me, if they walked outside for 2 seconds, who's harmed? Nobody. And guess what? She's alive.
Again, Bruce, he never saw the footage, the actual footage from the officer that shot her. And from that perspective, we get a much clearer idea of what happened. And again, majority of people would say, hey, that's totally unjustified if you don't see the other footage. But when you do, you get a clear picture of what she did. But I'm going to show you one more clip that Nate the lawyer has, and this is from a third lawyer called the Gen Z lawyer. Watch this.
Now, I'm going to allow another attorney. This guy's name is Gen Z attorney, and he's going to explain to you what you just saw.
This all happened super fast, but she basically then drops down to the ground, and as the officer starts to approach her, she then pops back up while grabbing the pot of water and throwing it. And it's as she's throwing it that the cop shoots her 3 times.
Now, the other attorneys, who I agree with their analysis, did not have this angle. So without having this particular angle, they didn't see her go down, pop back up, grab the pot, and toss it to the officer. That, I think, changes their analysis. Now, they may have come to the same conclusion, but that part of the analysis is critical because it tells you one thing: why the officer discharged his weapon. Now, I have got to be honest with you. You got people who don't like this fact, who want to pretend that didn't happen, who want to pretend that didn't exist. I've heard everything from the pot was empty to she wasn't throwing it to a whole bunch of different nonsense. When you can clearly see on the video, she gets up, takes the pot, and tosses it to the officer. And you can even see where the water fell. The water, if let's say, for instance, she picked up the pot and it fell in front of her, that's one thing. But you can see the pot falls way in, the water falls way in front of her, where the steam is now all in front of the officers. Now, I hope this answers the question why my analysis was different than theirs. Is because I'm analyzing more information. I'm analyzing multiple body cams that were available at this time, where they could only analyze the one body cam that was available that didn't show the full context of what happened. So
see, the Gen Z lawyer had the footage. So again, he was able to respond in a different manner. Now, the other 2 lawyers may have arrived at the same conclusion, but they didn't have the key piece of information. And that makes a big difference. So I think majority of people, again, I'm not a lawyer, but I think majority of people could understand the police officer who shot her. He did feel like he could have suffered great bodily harm. And I'm going to show you a little bit more of what Nate said, what he had to say about this, because whether or not he felt it was justified or not. But again, under Illinois state law, if the officer is under threat of being killed or great bodily harm, yeah, they can respond. They can respond with deadly force if needed. And I think that's what's going to be kind of the test here. Again, in court, they're going to, whether or not he felt at that time that he was in great bodily harm, in danger of something happened to him. And I think that's going to be, the issue here. But I'm going to show you a little bit more of what Nate had to say about this, and kind of if he felt that it was justified or not. Watch this.
I want to move on to the final two pieces of this second video on this topic. Number one, do I think this cop was justified? Absolutely not. I don't believe this cop was justified. There is no way this cop was justified. I think he was wrong with the way he was talking to her. I think he escalated the situation instead of de-escalating the situation. I think he created that horror show that happened in that house. So I absolutely do not think this cop was justified. I don't even know why they were actually in the house. And I said that in my previous video. I don't know why they pulled a gun. I don't know why they did any of that crap. Matter of fact, as I said in the last video, I think that cop should obviously be fired, and he shouldn't have ever been a cop. That cop is a horror show. He's a horror show to probably even work with for those guys who are working with him on the force. So yeah, I want to make it very clear. That cop wasn't justified in doing any of that. Matter of fact, that cop, I believe, is the reason why this woman is dead.
I agree with Nate. I don't think the cop was justified in the least for his behavior. Again, the guy was mean. He was a bully. The way he treated her was not right. However, I don't agree that he's the one to blame for everything. I don't think so. As a matter of fact, she is 100% responsible for her behavior. And if you're so fragile, if you're so mentally unstable to where a rude cop is going to make you throw a pot of boiling hot water on him, there's something wrong. There's something really wrong. And you would have gone off on anyone that was rude to you at some point. And maybe, just maybe, there would have been like a child or something. And somebody would have gotten killed or hurt. Again, that was truly innocent. But, again, the fact of the matter is, I don't think the cop was justified in the way that things happened. I don't think he was justified to use the force he had to use, because what led up to that? And now, I'm not saying that he was justified at the moment that she, again, was throwing the hot water on him. Or at him. But the stuff that led up to that was wrong. Because he could have backed up towards that front door, and then maybe drew his weapon. And that would have given her possibly enough time to realize, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm getting ready to throw boiling hot water onto a cop. What am I thinking?
All right, so all of you who've been with me for a while know that whenever I analyze a police shooting, I go to Graham v. Connor, because every law enforcement agency in the United States adheres to this seminal Supreme Court case. This case determines if an officer is using excessive force or if the force was reasonable. That's why it's called the objectively reasonable standard. Now, the only issue here that I thought was going to be an issue in this case was the serious threat option. If this officer can show that he was confronted with a threat that this woman could have caused him serious physical injury, he is allowed to use deadly physical force to respond to that threat. Now, with that said, do you believe that this is a serious threat to that officer? Now, to help us see what happened in slow motion, I'm going to put this emoji to show each time the cop fires the 3 shots. And you'll see when the shots were fired in relation to the pot being thrown, because there's some confusion on whether the cop fired after the pot was thrown or whether he shot while the pot was being thrown. I believe this officer's defense is going to be, this person was going to throw scalding hot water on me. So that could have caused me a serious physical injury, and I responded to that threat of serious physical injury with deadly physical force, as I am allowed to do. Now, to show you I'm not making this up, here is the Illinois State Police directives on physical force, specifically deadly physical force. And it says here, when the officer reasonably believes, based on the totality of the circumstances, that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or another. Now, as you see, the state's policy says it doesn't have to kill you, it just cause you great bodily harm. And throwing scalding hot water on someone is something that can cause great bodily harm.
Again, I'm not a cop, I'm not a lawyer, but I think at that point, I don't know what he could have done except back up to the front door and kind of lower the aggression level. And again, hopefully she, she'll realize what she's doing and she won't snap. But I think at that point, things are already, and again, I think the case could be made, and again, I'm not an attorney, but I think the case can be made that you had to respond with deadly force, and that was appropriate. So I think the case could be made, whether or not, again, like Nate the lawyer says, whether or not people buy that or believe that is the case, 50-50.
This is where the law comes in. See, to get a criminal conviction, you need to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So I say this is a 50-50 case. I don't think you get to the 80 or 90% needed for beyond a reasonable doubt. I think he can put forward some reasonable doubt. Hey, look, she's throwing boiling water at me. I think that's reasonable doubt. That's why I say it's 50-50. I think civilly, which 50-50 works, civilly, he's won, right? I mean, she's won. Her family should get paid. He should be fired. Civilly, yes, he's done. Criminally, it's a different story. I think, first, the state's got to survive a motion to dismiss, because any lawyer who is awake is going to file a motion to dismiss saying that, hey, he was presented a serious threat of grave bodily injury. He responded with deadly physical force. The manual says you can do it. The law says you can do it. And that's what he did. This case could be dismissed right there. Then, if you survive the motion to dismiss and go to trial, only thing you need is one juror to see what we just saw, her throwing the pot of boiling water at him saying on the stand, I was scared for my life, and saying, well, I agree. I believe that cop. That's why I am 50-50 with this case. I don't believe this cop was justified. I don't believe this cop did the right thing, but I believe a conviction is going to be difficult in this particular case. For Derek Chauvin, I thought he was going to get convicted easy. For the people who killed Ahmaud Arbery, I thought that conviction was easy. This conviction is not so easy. I'm sorry, it's just not. Now, I know there are a lot of you who want me to just say yes. Everything you want. He's going to be convicted of murder. He's going to go away forever. And that's probably true. That may happen. But with the facts that I have in front of me, I can't make that call. I honestly think this is a 50-50 criminal case. But civilly, yeah, he's going to pay. Just like with OJ. I thought OJ's civil case was easy. But the criminal case, he was found not to be guilty. Now,
Again, guys, I agree. Again, with Nate, I do. I mean, the fact of the matter is this guy civilly is done. But criminally, I believe, you could definitely make the case that, yeah, I was in fear. I was in physical danger, severe danger. And so I took the steps that were afforded to me by the state and by the Supreme Court. Again, I was in severe physical danger. And I think you could definitely make the case. And the guy might walk. I mean, I don't know, but he might. I'm no attorney, again, but I mean, again, the fact of the matter is, civilly, this guy's done. He's cooked. And he should be. He should be done. I mean, she died, lost her life, and her family definitely should go after whatever, because, again, he was an agent, an employee of Springfield, Illinois. So, and again, they sent him out to investigate a situation, and he winds up, getting into an altercation with the homeowner and shooting the homeowner. I'm just, again, yeah. I think the guy's done. The guy should be. The guy was an absolute ass. But I don't think the guy, my personal opinion, committed murder. I don't. I think the guy was stupid. I think the guy made bad decisions from the very get go. But I don't think he murdered her. And again, that's just my opinion. But I think the guy definitely was needs to be held accountable. What he did should be fired. It should be done totally in law enforcement, done. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I will say, I don't think this has anything to do with her race. I don't think it has anything to do with that. But guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.